even though I was diagnosed back in my 20s, now I'm 33, by the way. I know. I guess I've just now been focusing more on it. And I can't really tell you why. I think it's because it started with how poorly I was feeling despite the healthy behaviors I have been doing. And so I'm like, there has to be more to it. I want to share about two big things of how PCOS has impacted my life. And I think for me personally, I love hearing other people's story. Not always from the doctor, and all of that information is accessible through social media, and it's important. But I've learned so much by hearing from other folks, and sharing, sharing the fact that we both have PCOS. Back in my, I would say, early 20s, I was having a lot of abdominal pain, and I didn't know why. I was having sex with my partner, and I didn't know why that was happening. And I was also always worried about, like, I was getting a lot of yeast infections. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? At the time, I lived in the Bronx. Well, I still live in the Bronx, but it was a more predominantly like poor section of the Bronx. And the care that I was receiving was minimal. I was a graduate student. I had insurance through the college, but I've always been a big advocate because of my sister, to search for answers. But it was hell, to be honest. I remember going to a clinic that was accessible to me. I was getting tested for the yeast and tested for the UTIs and tested for the pain, very basic level things, like a urine test or this. And I was there literally almost every week. And it came to the point where one of the nurses had disclosed that to the doctor who was seeing me that time. This is a clinic, so you see different people. And she was accusing me of basically just sleeping around so much that that's why I was having all of these symptoms. She basically called me a hoe, is how I felt. And so the doctor came. He was so aggressive, white man. He's like, "Do you use protection?" My cousin was there with me, and she was just like so taken aback that I was like, what is up with this dude? It was a mess. I can't even, I'm going to be honest with you. That was a very traumatic experience. I don't even know how I ended up going to an actual like OBGYN and getting tested. But I realized, I think it was my sister who might have said, like, you need to go see a specialist, because if this is reoccurring symptoms, you need to see someone that specializes in that. That would have been helpful from from the doctor. You know what I mean? But this is why there's so much mistrust in the medical field, or distrust because of situations like this. And so I ended up going to a great OBGYN at the time, and he told me that I had PCOS. He identified it by a couple different ways. I actually have cysts in my ovaries, and I didn't have my period. So my period is super regular, so I had not experienced my period for 3 months. And then other things like hair growth in areas that it shouldn't been, an enlarged clitoris. I think those were the big ones. And so he gave me options. He said, listen, you can either try to lose weight to see if that helps kind of balance everything out if your period comes back. But if you can't lose weight, which is going to be hard for you because you have PCOS, because of the hormonal imbalance, then we're going to have to get you back in here and put you on some kind of medication to make sure that you start cycling again. The biggest issue, he said, for someone at your age who's not trying to get pregnant with PCOS is we need to make sure you have your period, because we want to make sure the lining is shedding. Otherwise, that can over time build up and be cancerous. And so that was very scary. And so he was phenomenal. I wish I remembered his name. And so I said, I want to try first. And so he said, if your period does not come in another 3 months, we're going to have to get you on that medication. And I said, gotcha, doc. Started working out, started changing my diet. Thankfully, I was losing weight very slowly, but it worked. My cycle regulated again. And since then, I really didn't follow up on that because the pain went away. The reoccurring UTIs, the reoccurring nonsense just stopped. And I said, okay, there's something to this lifestyle modification.
Hey guys, my name is Nikisha. So I am going to just talk about a little bit of my journey with PCOS. I was actually diagnosed with PCOS when I was 18 years old. And I never really understood it until maybe 5 years ago, five, maybe 4 years ago. But I've never had the quote unquote common symptoms. My only symptom was that I would miss periods. And once I was on birth control, I wasn't trying to get pregnant. So I was like, oh, cool, fine. No period, no problem. But as I started to get a little bit older, I started to then just say, okay, well, what's going on with my body? I don't want to be on birth control for forever. And when I finally got off of birth control, I had my first kid. It was definitely a surprise because honestly, what the doctors tell you about PCOS is that their first thing is that they say, oh, you're going to have trouble conceiving, which is not necessarily true. The other girl, Elena, she had said that there's different types of PCOS, which it is, and not everybody struggles to conceive. Lately, I've been struggling with my PCOS. I am extremely exhausted. Anybody who knows me will tell you if I'm sleeping, something's wrong. I started exercising and I researched some supplements that seem to work for me. Okay, but mom's on the phone. So I researched supplements that worked for me. And so I started exercising. I started doing something called body pump. And it's like an hour-long class with weights. So it's basically like a little bit of weight training and a little bit of cardio. And I started doing that, and that with my diet, I started cutting out carbs, but I did it more in a like a keto kind of fashion. You know, everybody's like, oh, you're supposed to eat net carbs of 50. Well, I like bread. I like junk food. So 50 wasn't going to cut it for me. So I I did basically a diabetic diet, and I went to like 150 grams of carbs for the day. And y'all, I tell you no lie, I lost like 20 pounds. And then I got pregnant again. um so now after pregnancy, I lost all the weight and everything was fine. And then with Corona and being that we moved to live in with my in-laws and stress with my house not being ready on time, I have literally gained like 20 pounds. So I'm back on my journey of taking my supplements, and basically I'm trying to eat healthier. It's a struggle at this point, but I know I can do it. And I know if I just put my mind to it, I can do it. But right now I'm just focusing on having more energy. One thing I noticed that most people with PCOS suffer with is a lack of energy. That is because you don't want to do anything. You just want to stay in the bed. It causes depression, anxiety. You don't want to do anything. Like the doctors don't tell you about these supplements that you can take. Like you only know about these supplements through your own research, which is crazy. Like I don't understand why they want to put everybody on birth control as a quick fix for PCOS. So I remember going to my doctor. I was like, they tried to put me on metformin, which is a diabetic medication that they give to people that have PCOS. You guys, it gives you bubble guts. Who wants to walk around with bubble guts if they don't have to? Like that is just ridiculous. When you can take something like cinnamon pills or apple cider vinegar or something, there's a lot of different herbs out there in conjunction that you can take that will, in conjunction with losing weight and eating right and exercising, that will have your body snatched in no time. And so it's like they put you on this birth control. It makes your symptoms worse. I don't know if anybody else has had that, but birth control definitely makes your symptoms worse. It makes, because birth control messes with your hormones. So it increases your depression, it increases your anxiety. It also just doesn't make you feel like a human being. You're like lashing out at people sometimes for no reason. So it's like, to me, going the natural route makes sense. There's so many people on Instagram or TikTok is like my new thing, that I follow, that give you like good little tips and little details into what to ask your doctor for, what tests, different things. And I just want people to know, if you need me to send you something, if you need to ask me anything, because not only am I suffering with PCOS, I am a nurse and I know what's safe. And people aren't telling you this information. Your doctors, let me not say people, your doctor isn't telling you this information. They just want you to be on birth control, and then they want you to take fertility medications if you're having trouble. There's no like in between, and that's crazy.
I'm gonna try to go through the comments and ask both you and Elena. A lot of people are asking that you guys put the resources that you did learn or do have right now to help you through your journey in the chat. Hey guys.
They said hi, bye.
Joanne stated that her doctor had put her on metformin, like you said, because she didn't want to be on birth control. She did 4 grams of metformin. Okay. 4 Gs of metformin for 6 months. And her periods have been regular. Oh, that's good. They will usually prescribe metformin. I didn't know anything about PCOS, which is why I'm happy you guys are able to come on here and speak more about it. I'm now seeing more women of color speak about it, but they don't know where to go. I didn't know there was natural remedies to these things. I mean, there really is for everything, but we're not aware of it. So where can we go to find these natural remedies? You said you have TikTok pages that you follow. Elena, do you have any natural resources or outside of the medication that has worked for you? I know you mentioned HIIT and weight training.
Yeah, so no, I've never used any medication.
Okay.
But I've heard, so I haven't tried any of the supplements. I'm really excited to try them after hearing Nikisha talk about them. But I've heard about cinnamon, simple things like zinc. I mean, these are things you could find over the counter or on Amazon.
Everything is over the counter. Nothing that I take is prescribed.
I see some consistency and just this basic info like zinc, cinnamon. There's some other stuff. And I'm like, really? That's it? And with little side effects compared to metformin and all this other stuff. Some people will put you back on birth control. That's a common one, especially if you're not trying to. But for me, the biggest thing has been like the exercise, eating, finding a plan that works for me that includes lots of veggies, lower in those, not so healthy carbs kind of thing. And even for me, again, this is me, like fruits, I've had to lower a little bit, not completely, but it's the sugars and the carbs that make it act up. And it's so frustrating because it's like, that's what you want too.
Anybody have questions? China, I've seen you put something on here about natural progesterone. I don't see your camera on. Well, yes, there you go. Can you actually speak more about it? This is my cousin. She's also a nurse, so she knows more too.
Yes, I work with a gynecologist and she does integrative medicine. So she more focuses on hormones. She does not like to put patients on any, synthetic hormones. Tries to use your body's natural hormones. So for some of you ladies, I would recommend your doctor checking your hormone levels, your FSH, LH, your estradiol, progesterone, your testosterone level. If I don't know how everybody's doctor is, but there is a certain level of each that combine. Also checking your cortisol levels in regards to energy and your adrenals. So you have cortisol, which is, you have AM and PM, which also will tell you when, okay, I wake up in the morning and I'm tired, or in the afternoon I had lunch, and you think it's like, oh, I just ate lunch and I'm tired. No, it might be your adrenal levels that are off. So sometimes you can check both of them and it'll tell you when you plateau or when you're at the most of your peak. Also check your thyroid with that to see if you have any Hashimoto's disease, which is autoimmune, and you will feel fatigue and run down. So my doctor, not only do I work for her, but even if I didn't, she is amazing. She takes the time to actually speak to patients. It takes about like 45 minutes. I mean, we kind of don't run on time because of that, but I've learned so much from her.
Okay,
and there's a lot of
Oh, sorry.
there's a lot of there's a lot of patients that suffer with PCOS and they don't know that they can do natural progesterone cream. Don't get on anything synthetic. I see some of you guys have mentioned metformin. She's never had to put any patients on that. Mostly she does supplements. There's iodine that helps you with that. So she usually has patients do progesterone cream at nighttime. So because it still is a hormone, you don't want to put it on and you're touching your small pets or your small kids. So you put it on at night and within your forearm before you go to sleep. It's good on sleep. It's good on your moods. And it helps with, if you are someone, not only PCOS, but if you have fibroids, it helps to shrink your fibroid over time. So
Wait, can we go back? Yeah, I actually was gonna ask that too, Janice. You mentioned that the cream, the progesterone, helps shrink fibroids.
yes.
Oh, I've never heard that. We're gonna have to do a whole nother segment just for fibroids.
Well, I just wanted to say also, if you are looking for a doctor in your area, they are PCOS doctors that are just for PCOS and other, they call them endocrinologists, reproductive endocrinologists. And if you look that up and you get in with somebody there, those are basically how your cousin was saying that her doctor is, though they're like that.
Nice.
So they will be able to help you.
To say this is awesome, just to say, because it's not often that you see other women sharing that they have PCOS. So only recently, I'm about to be 30-ish. And this is the first time I've really seen, other than like Nikisha that I see online talking about her having PCOS, I don't have a really large group of women that really share about this. I just wanted to add that your insurance company, because I do work for an insurance company, they will give you a health navigator who can actually help you navigate this as well and link you to certain providers and help you get some of this sorted out as well. Because it's actually more helpful for them to get you to the doctor than having you look for your own doctor. So if you call your insurance company, they can give you a health navigator as well to help with nutrition and all of that as well, as a part of your plan.
Oh, do we have to sit through a whole bunch of
no, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. Okay. I know specifically Emblem has it, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Cigna's actually one of the better ones who has it as well.
So anybody who has those, you're lucky. But like you said, just call up your insurance companies, ask for a health navigator, and specifically ask for a reproductive endocrinologist, correct?
Yeah, and they'll give you some sort of a case manager, like a health navigator, to help you get that linkage and any additional resources that you need as well. So basically, you don't have to keep doing the calls yourself. They actually do it for you.
Guys, so I am a pediatric nurse practitioner. I am a mama of 2. I love all things health and wellness. And just recently, I partnered with a company that sells over 300 products. Some are weight loss, some are collagen-based. But today's focus is going to be on gut health. Is that your gut and your brain are actually interconnected. Your gut is considered your second brain. So if you're having some poor gut health, it actually impacts a lot of different parts of your body. It impacts your mood, it impacts your energy. It impacts just your immune system. About 70% of your immune system actually is in your gut. So an unhealthy gut is why people tend to have a lot of colds, get sick often, things like that. Another one that I learned that was very impressive is that 95% of your serotonin is actually stored in your small intestines. So if your gut is unhealthy, it can also lead to things like depression and anxiety. Not saying clinical depression, but it definitely affects your mood and how you're feeling. If you're anxious, you're irritable, it can be that your gut is unhealthy. And the reality is that twice as many women have gut issues than men. things like stress, antibiotics, gluten, excess sugar, GMOs, tap water, all those things definitely affect your gut. And then you can have something called leaky gut, where you're having issues with either diarrhea, you're having issues with inflammation, you're constantly bloated, you're in pain, you're uncomfortable, food sensitivity. These are all part of having an unhealthy gut. And one thing that we found is some people take just prebiotics, some people take probiotics, but actually what the scientists for my company found out is that you need three things together. So it's a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a postbiotic. And all three of those together actually help heal your gut. Also certain diets, but the reality is that the diets that are good for your gut sometimes are hard to maintain. And I am a huge advocate of picking a diet or a lifestyle that you can sustain long term. Whether you are traveling, whether you are in school, whatever it is that you're doing, it's really important to pick a diet plan or a food choice that you can maintain long term. Kind of like Elena was saying, she was running away from bread, but the reality is, I mean, I love bread. So I'm not going to pick a diet where I can't have any gluten at all. Yes. So the three big tips that I always give, and I repeat these all the time. One is your water intake. Water intake is so important to your health and wellness. It affects so many parts of your body as well. Number two is your activity. You don't have to be like a professional athlete. You don't need dumbbells. Just increase your activity, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's taking an extra 5 steps, whether it's getting off the train a few stops before so that you can walk, or parking your car a little further away. Just get those steps in and moving. And number three, I already touched on, is your diet, what you're eating, what you're putting into your body, but getting something that you can sustain long term.
So I'm going to move on actually to the next portion of fitness, which is the detox that I did. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of what my experience was, why I did it, and what it helped me with, and then we'll move on from there. So do I have to make the screen bigger? You guys can see this, right? Everybody's good? Okay, good. So in January of this year, hold on, chat. Okay. If you guys do mention anything in the chat while I'm sharing my screen, I really can't see it, so I'll try to see it after I share my journey. But basically, in January of this year, I always start off with my prayer and fast group. We do something called the Daniel fast. This year, I kicked it up a notch by adding high frequency teas, 21 full body detox, which I went all raw vegan for. Raw vegan basically meaning not one ingredient cooked. There was no heat added to anything, no microwave, no toaster, nothing. It came from the farmer's market, supermarket, whatever it was, but it wasn't cooked. So it's vegetables, it's fruits, it's smoothies, it's protein shakes, spring water, and it also had like a tea and supplements that I had to take during this. I never got sick, I never got tired, I never got headaches, which I found so surprising because I was not eating any of the regular routines that I usually have. I'm used to fasting. I do 24 hours, no water, no eating, once a week with my prayer and fast group, but this was probably me eating 1/3 of what I eat in a day, and I never got sick, never got tired again. One of the main things that a lot of you asked was, what did I eat? These are the set of rules that I have for the raw vegan detox that we're going to be doing. This is going to be between March 21st to March 31st, 7 to 10 days. I'm going to be coupling it with something called Detox. Again, I'll link her page. She has all the information on it there. You don't have to necessarily do it. I am promoting it now and letting you guys know now about the challenge, so you have time to get it if you want to. By day 6, I was smelling food that nobody was cooking. I love Mexican food, so I was smelling tacos for whatever reason, I don't know. But again, I coupled mine with prayer, sermons, and that's what I would go to when cravings really started to hit, or I would get frustrated because I wasn't eating salt. I have to find something bigger than food. So I ask all of you to jot down, journal, write in your notes section of your books, your phones. What is your why? What is the reason for you to do this? If it's fitness, great. Like if it's health reasons, great. Is it you want to just discipline yourself. Once you can discipline what you eat and what you go to for comfort, there's nothing else you can't discipline about your life. Because a lot of us sometimes when we get frustrated at work, it's, oh, I need a drink with the girls. Oh, let me order some of this for lunch. And it's not really giving you comfort. It doesn't do anything. It just takes your mind off of it for that time being. You have to find something more positive, more sustainable that you can do when those times hit during these 7 to 10 days. So if you have a prayer life, or if you don't, or you kind of dibble and dabble, I strongly suggest that you do start to look at your prayer life because you're going to need it. Another thing that I want to supply during these 7 to 10 days is accountability partners in our group. The check-in has a page on Facebook where we'll be dropping recipes, dairy substitutes. My friend actually just sent me an egg and cheese substitute that's plant-based for those who want to do this raw or just want to do vegan. So I'll be putting up substitutes, recipes, IG pages that you can go to. Well, so yeah, so these are some of the pages, some of the juices that I use. Press Juicery delivers. You can do, they have vegetable juices, fruit juices, protein shakes. So any one of those. Veggies is actually another raw veggie vegan place. It's right on Nostrand and like Empire. So if you want to support your local Black businesses, that's one of them. Food list for raw vegan fruits, any fruit. Just be careful of the sugar content. So for me, I love bananas and I was eating it a little too much. So you have to be careful. Pineapple, be careful. Strawberries, not all strawberries. Cherries are good. Blueberries, if you like those. Vegetables, cabbage, kale, whatever you can eat. If you're doing it raw, just know it's not going to be cooked. Protein shakes, I spoke of. Fruit and vegetable shakes are good. Seasonings for my chefs or my cooks. There's a lot of West Indians on here. A lot of our Latinas are on here. Get your seasons together. Like avocado toast. Well, not toast, I'm sorry. Avocado on Ezekiel bread, not toasted. Snacks, sunflower seeds, peanuts, almonds, those type of things. And I would suggest strictly spring water because that's what was suggested to us when we did this. But if you only have like Poland Spring or whatever your take on it is, I like to drink alkaline water now, so I'll be doing Essentia. But again, just strictly water, no alcohol, no juice, no seltzer. I know we love to go to ginger ale when our stomachs are hurting, but none of that. If you do need tea, try to keep it as natural as possible. Like get the actual ginger product and boil that in the water and drink that for any stomach upsets. And yeah. And again, vegan list is the same as the raw vegan, except you're cooking it. The dairy substitutes will be posted in the group. Wild rice, quinoa, cauliflower, brown rice, no white rice, no white starches. So be careful with those as well. Mushroom and jackfruits are actually really good substitutes for meat. If you haven't tried them, really, really good. Again, the spring water and fruits for sugar craves. And if you do feel like you have to use brown sugar, if you have to use sugar, again, I would suggest that you use brown sugar, and that's it. So yeah, that's basically the list for now. I mean, it's really a lot of mental when it comes to this. Yes. Hello.
What about agave?
Agave, I would say check the sugar content on it. I didn't do agave while on this. I didn't do coconut cream. I didn't do any agave. So for me, I try to stay away from anything that's has too much sugar in it. Is anybody doing it that's here?
I have a question. I think my biggest thing with eating now is the fact that I work the night shift, 12-hour shift. So for those of you who do work the night shift, 12-hour shift, what are your eating habits? How are you eating? Any guidance would be appreciated.
Do I have any night shifters on here? Makisha, I think had to step off. Hey, yes. Oh, we have a couple of night shifters, all both nurses. So go ahead, Angie. I'll let you speak, and then Anna, I'll let you go after.
Well, night shift is a struggle in itself because before you go to work, you're either sleeping or running around, so you don't get to really eat. And once you start hitting the floor at 7 p.m., you're on the go all the way till what, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock. And when you eat, it's nothing healthy. It's probably like snacks, carbs, maybe chicken if everybody's ordering pizza. So you're eating all the wrong stuff. And in the morning when you get home, you're so tired. So you probably stop by somewhere, order something that's unhealthy. or you just go home and don't eat all the way till you wake up again. So I found out what works for me is I try to eat something before I leave my house. Whatever, it could be salad, if you're gonna have like rice or chicken, whatever that it may be that you want to eat. I've done that. And then I try not to eat anything at work, but more so drink water. And if I'm eating, it's fruits, snacks in terms of nuts, any grains, whole grain bars. And in the morning when I leave work, I try to eat right before I leave work. So when I do get home, I can just go to sleep. And from that time, I'll have enough hours in terms of like fasting. And then I'll wake up and do it all over again. But it's really hard because now when you switch over from night shift and you go into day shift, like when you just off, you go back to those bad habits. So it's really, really hard. And I found that I'm struggling nonstop. I can be good for 2-3 months and then I'm back to the bad stuff again. And it goes also with how your work schedule is. Like if it's stressful at work, you're just gonna binge eat. So it goes hand in hand.
Okay. Anna, did you want to add anything more to that?
Yeah, so I do something similar. I do intermittent fasting regardless. So I just adjust my fasting and eating windows when I work overnights, but I also pack snacks. Like I meal prep, and it doesn't have to be anything like difficult. I'll pack carrots because when I'm like anxious or whatever, like I want something crunchy, so I would go for chips. So instead I would get carrots, I bring hummus. If you pack your snacks and you kind of hold yourself accountable, like people used to make fun of me because I would walk around with my little snack bag like it was a purse, but it was because I needed it near me. Well, not now with COVID times. I hope no one has food at the station, but I keep it with me. That way I can hold myself accountable. And if I want a snack, I don't go to the machine to get candy or chips. I have it with me. I have grapes, I have nuts, I have carrots to kind of feed the different moods that you want. Frozen grapes are really, really great because they're sweet and then they're frozen and cold. And then they're like, kind of feels like you're eating a treat because you get the sweetness of the grapes. So it's something that I learned and I absolutely love. And it's just meal prepping. And meal prepping is a scary word for people because they feel like, oh my God, it's this daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. I literally will throw a whole chicken in the oven and that's 3 meals or 2 meals. And you can switch it up. You can do different things with it and just get the containers with those 2 sides, pack it up. It's in the fridge and you just grab it and go. I agree, eat something before you go so that you're not ravenous by 2 a.m. and you're just grabbing whatever's available. And then trying to eat like right when you leave so that when you go home, you can shower and lay down. That's it.
I have a question, and for I have some moms on here that are actually interested in doing the detox as well, but are breastfeeding. And I know you're a lactation specialist as well. What would you recommend in terms of them doing something like this, like a raw vegan or vegan detox? Would you recommend them do it?
I would say not because it's going to impact. So I wouldn't recommend they do it because they still need the fats and proteins for their milk supply, unless they can find some really, really good. I feel like for something like a detox and switching over to vegan, you have to do a lot of research because you have to still get in all your nutrients and you have to get in your proteins and your healthy fats. I don't know how much of healthy fat you can get on the raw vegan diet and if it's enough for their milk supply. Okay. And it also depends how old the infant is. A lot of diets and detoxes really aren't recommended if the child is younger than 6 months.
Got it. Okay. So for my moms on there, hopefully you heard. Again, I'll try to collect all of this information and put it on a post. Did anyone have any other questions in terms of one, meal prepping sounds like the big thing for those who are interested in doing the detox or just who work overnights. I worked overnights years ago and I gained so much weight. It was ridiculous. But I mean, it's how you stay awake after a certain point in time when the work is kind of slow. It's like, okay, let me eat something. So I definitely understand that. Anyone else? So my friend Kelly.
Hey, Kel.
Hi guys.
She actually
I'm at work.
Oh, she's at work. Okay, so she's also a PEDS NP. Hey, she works at Columbia, but she's one of my parent fast accountability partners, and she did the 21-day raw vegan detox with me. So really quick, before your patients come or call, tell about your experience with it.
So I would just, sorry, hold on for 1 second. I would recommend, because it's a really big commitment and it requires a lot of just a lot of discipline. And so I would just say be very patient with yourself. So even if you don't start this off, because this might be the first time you guys ever ate anything raw, right? And so I would say, even if you started off and you had cooked vegetables and you just stuck to vegetables or and fruits and not necessarily raw, that is also a commitment. And so to be patient with yourself, that even if you don't do it totally raw, making that commitment to say, I'm just going to do vegetables and this and that for 7 days is huge too. And you will definitely see a difference, um, whether you do it raw or not. Like just doing that alone, you will see a difference. So I just want to encourage people, because I'm just trying to think back to the first time, like a couple years ago when somebody was like, oh, you know, they don't eat meat. And I'm like, I cannot ever give up meat. And it was a process for me over the years, slowly taking back things and then being able to work myself up to be successful in doing a raw 21-day fast. And also accountability, having somebody to support you to bounce recipes off of is so important. And it's very mental, if I'm not sure what everybody's faith is, but prayer is very, just it's just very helpful to pray, to be intentional and to try, and not to beat yourself up if you're not totally sticking to this, and just the fact that you tried says a lot. And just recognize yourself for that. What else would I say? The You want to keep it as, if you're going to do it raw, it's like nothing cooked, nothing, no agave, no, it's literally just fruits, vegetables, and it's bland. But you think about it, it's just for 7 days.
Yeah.
It's not for the rest of your life, it's just for 7 days. And maybe you could even incorporate that, because like right now, I still do some of the things that I did during the fast. Like I juice a lot now after doing that. I do have we do eat more salads now. So I didn't totally revert back to everything that I was doing prior to. I don't eat much dairy anymore. I don't eat egg after this detox. I kind of fully gave up egg, which was really hard. So I would just say that, thinking off the top of my head.
Kelly, what do you do for protein?
So she recommends nuts.
We couldn't do nuts, could we? We couldn't do nuts on the 21 full
You
day.
had to wash you had to like wash them or something like that. Like you couldn't just do like regular, you couldn't just like, you couldn't be salted or anything like that. It had to be raw, and I think you had to wash them or something like that.
So you're basically drinking about 3 liters to a gallon of water a day on this. So when you do start to get hungry, I would suggest you grab that water bottle, and put fruits in your water. I see people do that on the regular. If you want some taste or want to trick your mind into thinking that you're drinking quote unquote juice, put like cucumbers and different things in your water, mint leaves, and just trick your mind into that. So
And I think my biggest concern with the detox and with any detox in general is the bubbling stomach. I'm an L&D nurse, so I don't want to be in a room pushing with the patient for like 3-4 hours and I have to run to the bathroom. So that's my biggest concern with that.
Kels, well, for us, we had to do a supplement that was a gut repair when we did our 21 days. So that's why I was running. I'm sure Kels was too, but that's what made me go to the bathroom a lot. It wasn't because of the raw vegan necessarily. It was more so the pills and supplements she had to take to repair our guts and to remove a lot of the toxins. Not saying that you won't probably go to the bathroom more regularly, but it won't be like a bubble gut situations where you're gonna have diarrhea.
Right, exactly.
That was
exactly. It's not like a bubble gut. It's because you're not taking I think this word detox too. You're not taking a laxative. You're just changing some eating habits. So you might go regularly, but it's not to the point where you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have to run. I didn't have that experience.
Oh yeah.
Of course, everybody's response to their body is different. So you could be cognizant of that. Like if you start, you might not want to start on a day that you work.
just to see how your body is, because everybody's response is different.
Anything else? Any other questions in terms of the let me not call it a detox. Whatever you want to call it, a challenge.
A
Think of
cleanse.
it as getting your body right for the summer. That call it what you want. Don't even call it a detox. It's literally removing all of the toxins, helping to jumpstart your health journey. Because once you remove these toxins that are within you, like you'll more easily start to shed the weight off. Because I didn't work out at all. I see a couple of you had asked that question. No, I did not work out. It was recommended for us to work out 3 days a week, but I was afraid that I may pass out or something because I wasn't eating as much. So I think I worked out the first day and decided, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. So all the weight that I lost was literally just because of what I was eating and the change of eating habits. Ate my salads, had my juices, had lots of fruits. So even the sugar within the fruits didn't necessarily hold the weight onto me. I lost 22 pounds. And even now, after I went back to, I ate some meat here and there, but not all. And I'm at 144 now. At the end of the fast, I was 139, 138. I'm now at 144. And that's after probably eating for the day or whatever. So
I have a question.
yes.
So I had reached out to her on the high frequency tea, and she recommended for women who have PCOS to do the full 21-day detox because I saw that she had the butters. I don't even know how to say it, but that was new. So I was asking her about that, but she was recommending the 21-day detox. Is that good for people who have PCOS? Because I'm now a vegetarian and kinda a vegan. So I just wanted to know, doing a full 21-day detox, is that good for people who have PCOS?
I think I can answer that. I think that when you have and she mentions it when you buy the cleanse, when you have like a disease process, like just the reason why the whole recommendation is to do it raw, because you get the full nutrients of the you get the full nutrients of the food in its raw state, right? So if you have a process, so you told her you have PCOS, so that's why she was recommending you do that full 21-day raw, because you'll get the full benefits of the whole cleanse. Because some people do it, there's nothing wrong, they just want to recharge for the year, right? And so she said, like, okay, it's more lenient, you could be more lenient with yourself in that terms. But then if you're really trying to combat something like PCOS, HPV, fibroids, stuff like that, she really recommends you doing doing it fully raw. And I think that's where most people get most of their like results, like after doing it 21 days raw.
I had did a raw vegan diet for probably like 7 days, and like honestly, I didn't notice any difference. Like I don't feel like I was less tired. I don't know if it's because I did it for like a short period of time, but like I said, I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat in about 4 years. I try to cut back a lot on dairy. I don't drink regular milk. When I do have cravings, I'll do get ice cream, but I try to, stick towards frozen yogurt. But I'm like so skeptical about trying this because it's not cheap. It's not. I actually know who she is. So, and when I found out that she was doing this, I'm like, oh, I want to support, I want to do it, but it's like, oh my goodness, like I'm just skeptical about trying it.
I think you add on, I think along with you're doing that, she's sending you supplements to use, which they're all natural supplements. You could actually get them yourself, right? She's sending you supplements to use. I mean, it really is up to you. I could tell for me, I did it for my fibroids and I did it for 2 months. The fibroids didn't get smaller, but I don't feel pain anymore. Like, so I definitely, that was a huge difference because I used to have really painful periods. And almost instantly when I did it, that was a significant change that I noticed. I think also too is your mental, like where are you mentally, like your state, like you have to be positive. Like it's not only just taking this food and being like, oh, I'm just waiting for this to happen. But you have to go into it with a positive attitude too, you know? That also I feel like
Exactly.
plays a
Yeah.
huge part, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So if I say take your time, you know, don't rush and jump into it if you're not fully there because you want to be at the best, you want to perform the best, you want to be in the right mind frame, you want to be positive the whole way through.
Oh yes. Thanks, Ida. Oh, but Ida, darn, I didn't get to answer her question before she jumped off, but she asked if we watch TV or listen to music. Again, this is going to challenge you mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of that. So the things that you're used to going to comfort are necessarily not going to be there. So I would highly recommend you be careful of what you ingest when you watch TV and listen to different types of songs as well. I'm gonna try the detox for 7 days. Yay, Tanya! Come on, join in. It's only 7 to 10 days. Again, you don't have to necessarily do the whole thing raw vegan. I've done it already, so which is why I can challenge myself to do it again just for 7 days. But if you decide that, okay, I want to try it 2 days raw vegan and then I'm gonna do vegan the rest of the couple of days, or maybe I'll keep out meat. Make this what it needs to be for you. Each journey is going to be different. What Kelly did is not what I did, just because we did the same type of detox. So again, just be careful. Try to keep positive things around you, affirmations. Um, Work out if you like to. If you feel like that helps your mood, definitely add that to it. The people you speak to that speak into you, definitely be careful with that too. You don't want anyone sitting there asking you, well, why are you even doing that? Why do you got to do all that? Like, it's not really going to motivate you to continue doing a raw vegan challenge if all your friends are telling you what's the point. So be careful who you let speak into you as well. We're good to go.